Welcome to Corn Coast Conversations. I am your host, the illest in Nebraska, HAKIM. I'm here to bring you all content from all angles of life as a father, recording artist, entrepreneur, and business owner. I'm here to spark conversations on various topics from politics, conspiracies, music, culture, and current events. So join me on this journey through the lens of my human experience from right here in the Corn Coast. I'm excited to have you all along for the marathon. All right, welcome back to Corn Coast Conversations. This is episode 10, big episode. I am recording this episode before 2025, so this will be my 10th episode for the year of 2024. And that's exactly what I had set to do from the minute I created the podcast. I told myself I at least wanted to release 10 episodes by the end of the year. So this one will be that 10th. Again, busy personal life, completed the renovations at the Corn Coast Company facility. They look phenomenal. Very happy to be alongside my guys again, cutting hair. Things are going good. Things are going well, but, I'm back to alleviating myself from a lot of my workload. So I'll be able to fine tune a little bit more with the podcast, but, yeah, I know this had a, very eye-catching name for the episode, but let's get right into it. I am God. I am not your God. I am not the God, but I am the God within my cipher, my mind, and my universe, my reality that I create for myself. The reason why I wanted to touch on this episode is because I cut alongside some very phenomenal individuals. They like brothers to me. They are my brothers. We have different walks of life. We've come from different backgrounds, and we're able to have very mature conversations. And God, religion, politics often come up a lot. And funny enough, that's one thing I haven't got around to touching up on the episode, is more so like politics, religion, conspiracy, stuff like that. But we'll get to the conspiracy soon. But today is going to be a little bit more so regarding religion. I've come to the conclusion and realization of why it's incredibly difficult for roughly 90% of people to call themselves gods. I truly believe that you are not ready to live at the level of conviction that comes with it. I'm going to let that sink in. We're going to say that again. You are not ready to live with the level of conviction that comes with calling yourself a God. So what I mean by that, roughly 90% or so of the masses are not ready to let go of their lower level vibratory things that they partake in. These things look like addiction. These things look like abuse over things that don't maintain balance within your life. Laziness, self-destruction, it comes in various forms. You're comfortable with living life at 50%. You've developed a mindset that somebody is going to save you, and that person is not yourself. The belief in an entity or force external from your mind and from your being, your vessel. You believe that somebody is going to save you from the circumstances and situations, and really the reality that you are currently living, without the realization from self-awareness that you caused and you created that said reality that you are currently living in. One of the main things to back that case is believing that paradise is only achievable after this physical plane that we're currently existing on. My problem is that you do not have to wait to experience heaven on earth, paradise, if you will. I don't believe that you will wait to find out if you are going to live in hell. When again, those things are circumstantial within the mind. It may be a state of being. versus a destination or location. And that's exactly why I'm here today, is to challenge your thought and ask questions. So my question would be, what if there isn't more? What if you're 100% responsible for the current reality that you're experiencing? Um, with that alternate perspective, I feel like the lens that you would look life through would be much differently. You would spend every waking second of your day with more intent and more introspection on the life that you live on a day-to-day basis. What if there wasn't some entity that you believed is pulling the strings behind um, your life? And what if it was actually you? What if it was your subconscious, something that you consciously don't think about? Uh, yeah. What if it was you? Now let's circle back to when I told you that I'm a God. When I say that, that means I hold myself to the convictions of living like one. So, and then I get the questions asked, what are the properties of such a God you claim to be? I'm going to give you a list of 20 properties and characteristics I would like to believe that a God would live up to. So we got number 1, cleanliness, physical and spiritual purity. Number 2, compassion, deep empathy and kindness towards others. 3, wisdom, profound knowledge and understanding. 4, justice, fairness in the pursuit of righteousness. 5, love, unconditional love and acceptance for all beings. 6, forgiveness, the ability to let go of resentment and anger. 7, humility, modesty and lack of arrogance. 8, patience, the ability to endure challenges without frustration. 9, generosity, willingness to give and share with others. 10, courage, bravery in the face of adversity. 11, integrity, adherence to moral and ethical principles. 12, selflessness, putting the needs of others before oneself. 13, gratitude, appreciation for what one has. 14, peacefulness, a state of tranquility and calmness. 15, joyfulness, a deep sense of happiness and contentment. 16, creativity, the ability to innovate and create beauty. 17, faithfulness, loyalty and devotion to principles or people. 18, hope, a belief in positive outcomes and possibilities. 19, sincerity, genuine and honest expressions of feelings. 20, service, a dedication to helping others and improving the community. So I gave a long list of 20 qualities that reflect God. And that's what I strive to be when I call myself one, because after all, weren't we made in the image of God? It's funny, today I had a discussion with one of my brothers at the shop, the barber shop. He's a non-denominational Catholic, and I'm not sure if you want me to shout your name out, but you know who you are, bro. So yeah, he asked me a question. How did it go? Well, it started with, he sent me a video of a guy that pretty much kind of aligned himself kind of with my ideologies of how I perceive the world, and he was saying he just tied it back to Jesus though, and he was saying in the sense of like all the religions tied to Jesus, and Jesus says, you know, I am essentially the only one. And pretty much he was tying it that, you know, the only way to get to God was through Jesus. And that was the only conflicting part for me. So when we be having discussions like that, I always challenge their thought. They challenge my thought. So we be having real respectful back and forth. A lot of our clients like listening to the dialogue and stuff. So the only thing that I was telling him that was conflicting for me is that I believe in God, and I didn't believe that he established a gatekeeper or essentially a middleman in order for me to have a direct line of contact to the source. So I brought up this question. I said, so hypothetically, take a man who considers himself to be of religious background, strong faith. He gave himself to Christ, but yet he still puts impurities in his body, in his vessel. He doesn't look after nor garden the earth. Doesn't have a job that's fulfilling. He actually works in a field that provides nothing beneficial to his health or the health of the community or other people. And I said, on the other hand, we have a man that believes in God in the sense of the universe. Universe, one song. He gardens the earth. He puts little to no contaminants or impurities in his vessel or in nature. Essentially treats his body as a temple. He works in a field that helps other people. He works in a field that provides for the community, uplifts the community. He prays to God, but he doesn't necessarily buy into the theology of essentially Jesus in the Bible or, any religion, Muhammad, Quran. So I was like, as somebody that I would like to believe that thinks with logic and intellect, just as my brothers do, I said, which of those two individuals would you deem has established a closer relationship to God? Yeah. And in that in that hypothesis, I just wonder what most people would deem as being closer to God, being connected to God, or being the furthest away from God. So I want to know what a lot of you guys think as viewers and your viewpoints. I would love to have more dialogue and discussion. Just because my soul, the sole reason I question is to essentially find the truth. And if something doesn't make sense to me, I like to question it. But I'm very aware of the dangers of, thinking to one track. So I guess that's why I keep my mind open to a lot of different ideologies, theologies, and just origin of thought. I think it's dope to have that kind of dialogue and see the world from a different lens as somebody else would see it. Because oftentimes I hear something, I'm like, damn, you know what? I didn't think about that, which can either alter some of my beliefs or strengthen them. So yeah, I think it all kind of starts with questioning and keeping your mind open. So I wanted to get back on track with the title of the video. So let's break down what God is defined as. The Creator is defined as being the supreme being. So I wanted to take the time and look up the definitions of supreme and then being, and then break down some in-betweens. The definition of supreme generally refers to something that is in the highest in rank, authority, or quality. It denotes the utmost level of something, often implying superiority or dominance over others. Here are some key aspects of the definition. So number one, highest in authority or power refers to a position of ultimate control or governance, such as supreme leader or supreme court. And to go along with that, to add, my thought to it is I feel like that's exactly who we are of our vessels. You should be in the ultimate control or governance of your vessel, your mind, your body, and your soul. Number two, greatest in degree or quality indicates the highest degree of excellence or superiority, such as supreme excellence or supreme beauty. And I would like to add on top of that, I don't see myself doing the task and essentially half-assing it. I hold myself to a very high degree, and the worst thing to do is let myself down. I'm the one that lives inside of my vessel. I stare in the mirror, and I deal with that. Nobody's going to know the level that you hold yourself to. So when you let yourself down, that could mean more than the world to some others. Some others don't have a regard of holding themselves to a higher degree like that. Number three, ultimate or final, can also refer to something that is conclusive or definite, such as supreme decision. Again, nobody is going to make that final decision in your life. You make all the supreme decisions in your life. Whether you are greeted with a fork in the road and you go left, you go right, same thing. Ultimately, it is you that makes that supreme decision. So, in summary, supreme conveys the idea of being at the top or the best in a certain context. Again, which should be everything that you're about. All those three things that I listed are all things I know and feel in my heart and my mind that I'm in control of. I don't believe no other man on earth has spiritual authority over me, and everybody should feel the exact same way. I'm the only person who makes the ultimate and last decision when I act on a thought. Now, this goes not to say that God doesn't act through me. So I say these things and I feel these things, ensuring that I'm not looking through a scope of ego. I know to most it may sound that way. I just think and feel and perceive myself as somebody of high degree. And maybe I was just raised that way. I remember, shout out to my pops. It's something that I do with my kids now, and I think it was one of the most important things my father could ever do for me. Before I could go to school, I would be in the barbershop and just be in the atmosphere at the barbershop, and even at home and at the barbershop. I was bored. My dad working there, it was boring. But I just always remember certain periods in the day, he would always ensure that we looked ourselves directly in the mirror and said, I love you, I love you, I love you, maybe like said 20 times. And he would do that throughout the day. And that stuck with me. So now when my kids wake up and my kids go to bed, they do the same thing after they stretch, do their little push-ups. They look in the mirror, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself. I think it is important. And I think a lot of people have gone their whole life with not instilling that level of self-love and self-care and self-image in their minds. Okay, now let's look at the term being. So there's several related meanings depending on the context in which it is used. So here are some of the primary definitions. So being, number one, existence, the state of fact of having existence, the condition of being alive or real. For example, the being of humans is complex. So again, though I know I have humanly senses, but what we perceive as reality, and again, the scope that I'm looking at life could be wrong because do I have Christ consciousness? Do I have a ceiling because I am a human? And sometimes we're just not capable of thinking like God, essentially. So number two, entity refers to a living creature or specific existence, such as a human being, animal, or other forms of life. For example, every being has its own rights. So yeah, I'm aware and I can validate that I am a entity, and other people can validate that for me as they're accepting my existence, essentially. Number three, essence or nature refers to the fundamental nature or quality of something. The being of an object includes its properties and characteristics. Number four, consciousness or awareness. In philosophical context, being may refer to the state of having consciousness or self-awareness, often explored in discussions about existence, identity, and reality. I would like to think that I'm somebody of that has a capability of using self-awareness, but I also know a lot of people aren't. So overall, being encompasses the idea of existence, entities, and the intrinsic qualities that defined those entities. As far as I'm concerned, if it walks like a dog, fetches like a dog, barks like a dog, it's more than likely that I'm describing a dog. Which would essentially, if you don't like the idea of calling yourself a god, it is much easier to come to the conclusion that you are godlike. Next, I wanted to get into something called the Immaculate Conception. I know the Bible refers to a different one. But the term immaculate conception generally means spotless or clean, refers to something that is completely clean or unsoiled, both a literal and figurative sense. So, for example, an immaculate room implies that the room is perfectly clean, right? I believe we have the ability to achieve that in mind, body, soul, spirit. I think that is accomplishable. So, two, moral purity. Immaculate can also describe a person or character that is morally pure or virtuous, devoid of sin or wrongdoing. That one's pretty damn hard to accomplish. I'm not gonna lie. Do I believe that some humans may have gone their whole lives and never done a thing wrong? I can believe that, but I believe that would be less than 10% of the world. So three, flawlessness. In a broader sense, it can refer to something that is flawless or perfect, whether it is an idea, performance, or aesthetic quality. Again, that one's pretty difficult. Less than 10% of the masses, I believe, are flawless. But the other things outside of ourselves, like it stated, ideas, performance, aesthetic qualities, I think certain things like that can be flawless. But then again, all that is subjective to the eyes of the next man, essentially. All right, and the term conception has multiple meanings depending on its context in which it is used. So some of the primary definitions. So the biological definition of conception is a biological context. Conception refers to the process by which a sperm fertilizing an egg, leading to the formation of a zygote. This marks the beginning of pregnancy and the development of a new organism. So that is the biological definition of conception. Number two, formation of ideas. In a more general sense, conception can refer to the formation or development of an idea, plan, or understanding. For example, the conception of a new project refers to the initial stages of thinking and planning that project. So I have an album, y'all go stream that, called The Algorithm, out now everywhere. In the intro to my album, funny enough, you'll hear a man, I can't think of his name at the time. He was essentially breaking down how everything starts as thought first, thought into manifestation, so on and so forth. And so it's first the thought that manifests itself into you and your partner, then the creation of life through the baby. It all started with a thought. Thought power into manifestations is very powerful. Overall, conception can refer to both biological process of creating life and mental process of forming ideas and understandings. So let's get into The Magnificent Obsession. That's another album of mine. Y'all go stream that. But it says here, the magnificent obsession typically refers to a deep, passionate pursuit or dedication to something that is viewed as noble or admirable, often involving selflessness and transformation of character. While it can be used in a general sense to describe any intense devotion to a cause or idea, it is most commonly associated with the following. Philosophical or spiritual context. The term can also suggest a philosophical or spiritual commitment to a higher purpose or calling. Where an individual becomes deeply invested in ideas such as compassion, service to others, or personal growth. The magnificent obsession is like that thing that keeps the fire going. It is that one thing that you're crazy about. It's the thread that keeps you tethered to sanity, essentially. So you take the immaculate conception, your magnificent obsession, and then you understand that manifestation plus work equals the materialization within this dimension of essentially everything that you think of and manifest within your mind. And then you are greeted with the empowering thought that maybe you're a little bit more than what you thought of yourself. And you realize that you can be a supreme being that operates at a level that most people don't have the ability to operate at. But as we're getting to the end of the episode, I do believe some people need things in their life that keep them balanced, keep them on track, essentially their North Star. So whether that's the Bible, the Quran, religion, Uh, if if that is what you need for your moral and spiritual compass in life, who would I be to knock that? Any person that has belief in God and deems themselves as walking in the path of God is essentially, I could say, a brother or a friend to me. I don't view you as my opposition. So whatever is your cup of tea, whatever keeps you on track, and it's not causing harm or detriment to anybody else, yeah, chase that. Walk on that path. Yeah, stick to your roots. But for those that watched this episode and desperately needed that shift in paradigm and thought to better your life, I'm glad you made it through to the end of this video. I would like to end this video with the diamond of the day, and it goes: belief doesn't exist out here in the world. Uh, Belief only exists in your mind, and only as long as you continue to believe them. The power of belief is very real. Um, you can fool yourself into believing you are much less than what you're capable of. I like a quote that says, "The mind is so strong that it can get you to believe you are powerless." And that shit is real. If I could say anything at the end of this video, it would be expand your mind, keep your mind open to all beliefs, filter out what you deem as truth, and just be mindful of the dangers of being too close-minded to the possibilities of alternate realities. Like I said, I keep my ears open in case I miss the truth. I like to take in all information, filter out what is logical to me, but also still do my due diligence. That way I can operate at the highest degree and not be in the shadows of the truth. So, yeah, I hope you guys got some great insight. This was episode 10. Happy New Year's to you all. It's been a phenomenal 2024. I'm looking forward to having another phenomenal year next year. Stay safe, guys. Stay healthy. Stay on point like a pyramid. Watch after your loved ones, your friends, your family. Better yourself. Strengthen your mind. Strengthen your body. Strengthen your relationship with God. I love you all. It's been fun. Episode 10. Looking forward to episode 11. Looking forward to bringing you guys phenomenal content in the future. Again, I am your host, the illest in Nebraska, HAKIM. This was episode 10. And I'm going to go catch a movie. Peace.